بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Tonight's lesson is going to be on beginner's fiqh from the crystalline pearls Ad-Durar Al-Bahiyyah في المسائل الفقهية. We've reached Kitab al-Nikah, the book of marriage. Last week we were discussing the rulings of looking at the one that you propose to marry, or you've proposed to marry, looking at the girl, and or the girl looking at the guy. And we also spoke on the ruling on getting married without a wali. Getting married without a wali. And also, is it permissible to get married without witnesses? We also spoke on when a man disqualifies himself from being the wali. إذا كان عاضلا. When he makes adl, and what does that mean? We explained that in detail last week. We also mentioned about a wali not being a Muslim, a non-Muslim man being the wali of a Muslim woman. طيب. And we also spoke about marriage agency, tawkil, putting someone in trust of your affairs, giving them the permission to marry you off, male or female. Find me a wife. I say, whatever you pick, khalas. You're speaking on my behalf. Not, I want to call you, listen, Mufti, I found someone. No, wakaltuk, you're my wakil. So you got to make sure what? You make a good choice, ya akhi. Do you understand? You got to make sure what? Everyone understand this? You got to be a good choice. طيب. Moving forward. He says, وَلَا وَاحِدًا. طيب. فصل. في الأنكحة المحرمة وأحكام الفسخ. He talks about في الأنكحة المحرمة. After he spoke about the proper way of getting married, the conditions, the obligatory things for marriage, he talks about al-ankihah al-muharrama, unlawful marital contracts, marital agreements which are haram, al-ankihah al-muharrama, which cannot be done. And he also says ahkam al-fasakh, the annulment of a marriage, not divorce, but a marriage being abated, a marriage being null and void. Something wasn't right, something is incorrect, whatever the case may be. طيب, he says وَنِكَاحُ الْمُتْعَةِ مَنْسُوخٌ وَالتَّحْلِيلُ حَرَامٌ وَكَذَلِكَ الشِّغَارُ وَيَجِبُ عَلَى الزَّوْجِ الْوَفَاءُ بِشَرْطِ الْمَرْأَةِ إِلَّا أَنْ يُحِلَّ حَرَامًا أو يحرم حلالا ويحرم على الرجل أن ينكح زانية أو مشركة والعكس ومن صرح القرآن بتحريمه والرضاع كالنسب والجمع بين المرأة وعمتها أو خالتها وما زاد على العدد المباح للحر والعبد وإذا تزوج العبد بغير إذن سيده فنكاحه باطل وإذا عتقت الأمة ملكت أمر نفسها وخيرت في زوجها ويجوز فسخ النكاح بالعيب ويقر من أنكحة الكفار إذا أسلموا ما يوافق الشرع وإذا أسلم أحد الزوجين انفسخ النكاح وتجب العدة فإن أسلم الآخر ولم تتزوج المرأة كان على نكاحهما الأول ولو طالت المدة إذا اختار ذلك. الشوكاني رحمه الله, the matin, the author, he says وَنِكَاحُ الْمُتْعَةِ مَنْسُوخ. Mut'ah, or we say in America, mut'ah marriage is mansukh, is abrogated. It's now impermissible. It's now invalid. It's now haram. But at one point in time, he says that it was lawful and it was valid, but no longer. So it's no longer permissible to make a mut'ah marriage. وَالتَّحْلِيلُ haram. And it's also impermissible to do the tahlil marriage, which we'll explain later. Right now we're just translating it. He says, وَكَذَلِكَ Shighar. And Shighar marriage is also haram. So we mentioned how many types of marriages which are haram so far? 3. Mut'ah, tahlil, and Shighar. Mut'ah, tahlil, and Shighar. Of course, we speak in English and we translate it, but it's a benefit to know the Arabic term. It's a benefit of knowing it. Just like it's a benefit in using it and saying it on a daily basis. Like we say, did you make salat yet? Did you make salat? Did you make salah? I gotta make salat. Or we say, I gotta make wudu. Hold my phone for me. Where is the wudu? No one says, brother, I need to make ablution. I need to go make ablution. Somebody came in the masjid and asked for ablution. You may look at him what? Sideways. This guy working for the feds or something. He says, where's the ablution? Right? No doubt. Any practicing Muslims want to say what? Wudu. Everyone understand this? Okay? Or the concept of method and even saying a mosque. Ask yourself the question, I mean, what serious practicing Muslim really says mosque like that? Some brothers do. Some brothers do. But, I mean, I got to go to the mosque. Meet me at the mosque. We say, I'm at the masjid. Or some brothers, they say, I'm at the masjid. Right? Masjid. Masjid. Al-Muhim, people, they have so many different Arabic and Islamic terms in their daily vocabulary. And that's a fa'idah with regards to learning Arabic. Talking about Al-Andalus Institute and how to learn Arabic in 15 months and being fluent and so on and so forth. We were discussing this, that you know a lot of Arabic, but you just don't use it. Where's my thobe? Oh, that's a nice thobe. You going overseas, bring me back a thobe. We don't say bring me a garment, bring me a garb. Bring me some clothes, bring me a dress, bring me a gown. You say what? A thobe. Or sisters that say, I'm going to buy a khimar. Not khimar, huh? Some may say with a kha, but in general, what? Khimar. Everyone understand this? So if you sit down and honestly think about it, there may be 50 Arabic vocabulary words that you use every single day. You just don't even realize it. That is lugha al-Arabiyyah. So take those 50 words and add another 50 to them, and then you branch off. Everyone understand this? And just in a religious sense, the religious sense, not talking about learning Arabic, but in a religious sense, how many words you just prefer to say it in the original Arabic language. Everyone understand this? And that also leads us to the problematic issue of calling Allah, of referring to Allah as God, and how that can become problematic. And how many people who say that they say God bless you or praise God or we thank God, why are they saying that? Who are you talking to? What are you translating? Does Allah translate to God? That's a mushkila. Whether it's halal or haram, but it's still problematic because most people, they're only doing that to what? Appease a non-Muslim. Most people are only doing that to appease a non-Muslim. Everyone understand this? And they oftentimes get on their good side and to lessen their fundamentalism. Say Allah. Allah is God. God is Allah. We say Allah. That's who he called himself. But they say God. God bless you. Oh, thank God. You may get into an Uber or a taxi cab with somebody and they say, oh, how are you, brother? Thank God that you're a Muslim. Like, who talks like that? What two practicing Muslims say God? Everyone understand this? It's funny. Now let's reverse it now and look at the hypocrisy of many people. That says nothing wrong with that. That's the translation of Allah. Allah means God. But if we were in Egypt and we're talking Arabic, would we say Al-Ilah? Yes or no? Alhamdulillah. Al-Ilahu Akbar. Would you say that? You would say what? Allah. So something is a glitch now. If it just means the literal translation, God as Allah, then we would say Ilah. You don't pray like that. You don't say Al-Ilahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. Subhanallah. You don't say that. But we always say what? Now think about that. Make sense or not? So something doesn't make sense now by just saying in English it's God and that's the exact meaning of Allah. Something isn't right. And the proof that that's not right is that it's not how it is in what? Arabic. Not the Quran. Arabic. No one would say the Muslims ya'budun al-ilah. Christian Egyptians, would they say that? Would they say that? They worship al-ilah? They wouldn't say that. If they wanted to go into a masjid and fit in as a spy or something to harm the Muslims, what would they say? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatul ilahi. They would say what? Wa rahmatullah. So this is food for thought and this is extremely important, huh? Moving forward. Type. The concept of just keeping the Sharia sacred, okay? And there are many other manifestations of this, durud, namaz, rosa. It's not just beating up the Arabs. Everyone understand? It's all around the board, wherever you go. Not just an Arab immigrant thing. God, praise God. But it's also people, brothers from Caribbean as well. They say, I got to do my rosa. What practicing Muslim that's on the sunnah is going to say a rosa? Why don't you just say, I got to what? Fast. Everyone understand this? The people, they do what? They talk about, these people, they send signals for everything. A missing car, somebody missing. Allahumma musta'an. Tayyib. Durud, huh? The brother, he says, well, what's the ruling on durud? Or how do I make durud? What's the durud, yani? Everyone understand this? Or namaz. Namaz time. Why not just say what? Salah. It's not going to hurt you. It doesn't cost no money to just say what? Salah. Everyone understand this? And then many other what? Examples of this as well. طيب. Moving forward. He says, وَيَجِبُ عَلَى الزَّوْجِ الْوَفَاءُ بِشَرْطِ الْمَرْأَةِ. And the man must stick to the agreement that he made with the woman. If the woman made a stipulation and they agreed on that before the marriage, then the man must what? He has to stick to it. Unless that stipulation makes something lawful haram or something haram lawful. Moving forward. He says, and it's impermissible for a man to marry the following types of women. Number one, zaniyatan or mushrika. A woman who's a zaniya or mushrika, he cannot marry. Wal-aks, and the opposite applies. A woman cannot marry a zani or a mushrik. وَمَنْ صَرَّحَ الْقُرْآنُ بِتَحْرِيمِهِ. Nor is a man allowed to marry anyone that the Quran has directly said he can't marry. In Surah An-Nisa, or Surah Al-Ma'idah, or Surah Al-Baqarah, any ayah in which talks about what you cannot marry, you cannot marry. He says, وَالرِّضَاعُ كَالنَّسَبِ. Breastfeeding and suckling is just like lineage. Takes the same ruling as being related to someone. Moving forward, وَالْجَمْعُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْأَةِ وَعَمَّتِهَا. And being married to a woman and her aunt, paternal or maternal at the same time. وَمَا زَادَ عَلَى الْعَدْلِ الْمُبَاحِ لِلْحُرِّ وَالْعَبْدِ. And marrying more women that you are allowed to marry. If you're a slave or if you are a free man. You cannot have more than this number. Whatever that number is. A slave having a smaller number than a free man having. A slave could be married and have more than one wife in Islam. You understand this? A slave may have more wives than some free brothers. بعض الأحرار انتبه لنفسك الآن. A servant, someone who's in bondage, he may have more wives than what? Some brothers who have freedom, who walk, work, go to school, travel, and they have nothing. Allahumma musta'an. He says, and when a slave gets married without the permission of his master, then the nikah is false. It's batil. طيب. If there's a woman who's a slave, and she's manumitted or emancipated, she is now free to choose. Let's say she was married to another man, a man who's a slave. She can stay with him or say what? I want to go. I don't want to be married to you no more. I'm no longer a slave. You're a slave. I'm free. طيب. He then says, وَيَجُوزُ فَسْخُ النِّكَاحِ بِالْعَيْبِ. And it's lawful for a marriage to be broken up, to be made null because of aib, which we'll explain. Tight. Let's move forward. Let's go back and make some explanation before we finish the rest of the translation. The first point he says, وَنِكَاحُ الْمُتْعَةِ مَنْسُوخٌ. Nikah al-mut'ah وهو النكاح إلى أجل معين. It's for two people to agree that we're going to get married at a certain or to a certain period of time. Me and this sister are going to get married, and we agree until what? October 1st. Come October 1st, what? Kalas. There is no, I still want to be married to you. No, it's done. It's over. We both agree to that. Me and her. Everyone understand this? From the issues that pertain to nikah al-mut'ah is the issue of an-nikahu bi niyyat at-talaq. Getting married with the intention of divorce. Getting married with the intention of divorce. Is that lawful in al-Islam? And if it is lawful, does it resemble nikah al-mut'ah? So let's say I get married to a sister, and in my heart, I know, I said, this marriage is not going to what? Till October 1st. Come September the 23rd, she's going to be divorced. I'm telling you now, I'm going to divorce her to myself. And that's my decisive opinion before I even marry her. I'm going to divorce her. In other words, I'm traveling back to West Africa on October the 1st where my wife and children are in my village. But here in New York City for 2 weeks, I need what? Something halal. Everyone understand this? I need what? Something that's lawful, pleasing to Allah. I can't make zina. I don't want to make zina. But I need a marriage, but I can't take her back home to my mother. Sallallahu musta'an. My mother in West Africa would never accept her. My village would never accept her. My family would never accept her. It just won't work no matter what. But here in New York City, I need to get married. So I'm going to marry this woman with the specific and explicit intention of making talaq at a specific period of time. Is that lawful? That's the su'al number one. And if it is lawful, is it hal yushbihul mut'ah? What's the difference between that and mut'ah is what? Aywa, min janib wahid. It's not from the janibain. Both of them agree October 1st, what? Nikah is done. Don't call my phone. Don't email me. Don't Facebook me. What? It's done, yani. Antum ma'na wala la. We have to understand this, the tasawwur of the issue. Come October 1st, what? There's no mufti, no, it's done. Don't come to the masjid saying you left your teacup at the apartment. Wadih? Don't make a scene on Jumu'ah. None of that crazy stuff. It's done. Over. 12 a.m. September 31st is what? Finished. So the mut'ah is a mutual what? Agreement. And nikah bi niyyat talaq is only from one? One person. So that's the difference in that and mut'ah. But it is some resemblance of what? Mut'ah, according to those ulama. Next issue is, what if both sexes have the intention to divorce each other? Both of them do. The sister, she says, come October 1st, we're going to get what? Khula. I'm going to ask him for khula. And he's also at the same time saying, come October 1st, we're going to what? Talaq. All three at once. Anti-taliq, what? Anti-taliq. I'm done with this situation. Is that the same? And another issue is, what if both parties have the mutual agreement that if it doesn't work out and our conditions are too hard, we'll both what? Part ways, respectfully. It's not mut'ah. I'm going to try to work it out. But we're not going into this marriage like, we're just like lovely-dovely. Everything is going to be, it may not work. But at least make it what? Permissible. You're not with me. Listen carefully to the issues. Listen, it's muhim jiddan. Because you say mut'ah or mut'ah, people they don't understand what they're actually saying. All right? The mut'ah is what? For both what? To agree that the marriage is temporary. It's lawful marriage, they're saying. We're not making zina, but come this date, it's what? Over. Then we have number two. An-nikahu bi niyyati talaq. The man has that same intention, but he doesn't express it to the woman. He doesn't tell her that. She's thinking that this is my lovely husband. We're going to be together. And he's saying this marriage, after 2 weeks, I'm done. Everybody understand this? Surah, scenario number 3. Both of them have that intention, but it's not what? Explicitly agreed upon. But they indirectly or inexplicitly hold the view or say like, listen, let's try it out. But we both say right now, if it doesn't work out, it's not going to be no drama, no fight, no arguments. No, don't divorce me. I'm going to the masjid. You go, lakum dinukum. Everyone understand this? It's all surah of this issue of mut'ah. Huh? We're not going to get into the concept of mut'ah and the Shi'ah. We're not going to get into that right now. Moving forward. He says, what tahlil? وهو الشخص يتزوج المطلقة ثلاثا بشرط أن يطلقها بعد وطئها لتحل لزوجها الأول. التحليل, as the mu'alliq says, a woman was divorced 3 times from her husband, meaning he can't marry her again until what? حتى تنكيها زوجا. The Quran says she has to marry another man. And the Sunnah has explicitly explained until you what? حتى تذوقي. He has to and you have to taste each other. You have to be married. عسيلته, the hadith says, his عسيلة وعسيلتك. Everyone understand this? There has to be intercourse. After there's intercourse and it doesn't work out and he divorces you, now she can go back to the first husband, brother Abdul Kareem. طيب. Ahmed can now marry what? Abdul Kareem. Everyone understand this? After she was divorced from brother Abdurrahman, and Abdurrahman and Ahmed actually consummated the marriage, but not with Abdurrahman's intention of tahlil. Everyone understand this? Abdul Kareem and Abdurrahman are friends, or they're not friends. They hate each other. Al-Muhim, Abdul Kareem, he goes to Abdurrahman and he says, listen, I divorced my wife 3 times. Now I want her back. I made a mistake. I was short-sighted. We worked it out. I'm no longer addicted to this. Whatever our issue is done. She wants to marry you now. I want you to marry her. And I'm going to pay you money. But you got to agree. As soon as you marry her, consummate the marriage, After she's off of her menstruation, you will divorce her and won't take her back. Deal or no deal? Because I need it to be lawful, what? For me again. Everyone understand this? أنتم معنا ولا لا؟ أكيد. Tahlil يعني. Everyone understand this? Or Abdul Karim and Abdul Rahman, they don't have an agreement. They don't have an agreement. But Ahmed and Abdul Rahman have an agreement. Everyone understand this? Whoever the agreement is behind it, I'm only marrying her and sleeping with her for her to go back to Abdul Karim. That's also haram. It's impermissible to do. It's also what? Impermissible. But if Ahmed marries Abdul Rahman and they just don't get along and they fight and he divorces her, after her iddah and everything, she can now remarry Abdul Karim with a new set of iddas, a new set of talaqs. Everybody clear on this or not? You sure? Tayyib? This is a very common issue here. Brothers, they are hasty, they can become impulsive, they become angry, they divorce their wives 3 times, and then it's done. And then next they say, oh, subhanAllah, I regret. Then they come to the masjid, Shaykh, help me out. I divorced my wife. How can I get her back? The Imam says what? Malish, qad hallat lil azwaj. Your wife is now on the what? The market of marriage now. You can't take her back. I'm sorry. Shaykh, I was angry. The talaq counted, it's done, it's over. So now he's vexed. He doesn't know what to do. And he goes and he tries to find someone to do what? Make the tahlil for him. And also he makes conditions. You got to agree that you're only going to sleep with her what? One time, akhi. Only one time, ya akhi. Not, I'll divorce her 2 months later, 3 months. No. That's it. As soon as the marriage is done, khalas, ya akhi, immediately make the talaq. Everyone understands this happens. And oftentimes this come from people not thinking about it and not giving it enough thought. And this is the piece of advice that I give to many brothers all of the time. They talk about divorcing their wives, or they're fighting, and they're arguing. You ask your brother, ya akhi, write down these complaints that you have about your wife, or these conditions that your wife wants you to fulfill, and you're ignoring them. Shut up, it's nonsense. You don't know what you're talking about, right? No problem. What are you going to say and do when you see your wife walk into the masjid for Jumu'ah on the Eid holding Abdurrahman's hand? Can you bear the sight of that? Or you're going to cry, you're going to be upset, you're going to want to fight, you're going to start fitna, you're going to holler and growl and bark. If you can't think about her walking to the Eid, holding his hand, them going to the masjid together, then don't divorce your wife. Everyone understand this? And stop thinking about divorcing your wife. But if the brother says, I don't care who she marries, she can marry Abdurrahman, Abdullah, I don't care, it doesn't matter. I hope that she gets a better husband than me. That's a different story. But if you know your jealousy is like that, or you're going to be hurt, you're going to be crushed, you're going to make a fitna with the brother, why even what? Divorce the woman. Isbir, be patient, yaqi. No one is forcing you to divorce her. Take your time, get your counseling, you don't talk to whatever, but don't make the talaq if you know that you're going to act a fool when she does what? Remarries and comes to the Eid or comes to the class or the lecture, or you see her in the halal meat store or the bookstore with what? Abdullah. It's going to be a crushing blow. No one has forced you to divorce her. Everyone understand this? And that's why the man is supposed to be perseverant. And the man is supposed to be patient. He's not supposed to be impulsive. He's supposed to make the talaq with a clear mind, not in a state of anger, not after he just had intercourse with her, not when she's menstruating. He's supposed to make the talaq after it's what? Clear. He's advised her, he's separated the bed, so on and so forth. He's made all of the steps. Then he says, you know what? Khalas. I'll pronounce the talaq. And then, inshallah, when you do things with a clear and level head, it's not but so often you have regret. You may have regret afterwards, but it's not going to be as much regret if you did it impulsively. You understand? You just slam something on the table, talaq, khalas. In most cases, when you calm down, you're not saying, say, man, what did I just do? And then next you know, Muhammad is with Abdurrahman. And then it's a fight and it's a mushkila. You took my wife, you stole my wife. You didn't think it through. So this is very important. Taqwa, sabr, and thinking it out. Do not rush into the divorce. Most people who rush into divorce, they regret it later on. Most brothers who don't think it through, they become angry when their ex-wives remarry. Moving forward, he then says, وَكَذَلِكَ الشِّغَار. And it's also lawful or unlawful to make the shighar marriage. And the shighar marriage is for a man to marry his daughter off to another man, and that man to marry him off to his daughter without no mahr, no sadaq. So right now, I have a daughter who's 18. You have a daughter who's 18. I say, zawajtuka ibnati. I've married you off to my daughter, and you say what? You've married me off to my daughter, but there's no sadaq. I'm not giving no bridal gift to your daughter, or vice versa. As if the sadaq is just the what? The exchange, the trade-off. That's called nikah shighar. That's also what? Unlawful. And it'll be lawful as long as there's a sadaq. I marry your daughter, you marry my daughter, nothing wrong with that. We have a double walima on the same day. That's tayyib, as long as there's a sadaq for both of them. Or my sister, or my mother, or any woman that I'm the wali of. Everyone understand this is called the shighar marriage. Tayyib. Moving forward. He says, وَيَجِبُ عَلَى الزَّوْجِ الْوَفَاءُ بِشَرْطِ الْمَرْأَةِ. And a man must fulfill all stipulations that he agreed upon with the woman, unless those stipulations are false. Now, the biggest question, the most important issue, the biggest, juiciest issue is what, of course? We all know what that is. Of course. You can't get married to a what? Another woman. Do you agree? I'm getting married, but in the contract, it specifies no ta'addud. There is no second wife. You say, okay, no problem. I'll never, ever get married to another woman for the rest of my life with you. I don't know how long I'm going to live. I don't know how long you're going to live. I don't know what's going to happen to you. Are you going to have children? Are you fertile? Who knows the future? But I'm what? I'm going to sign that contract. So now you've signed the contract, and let's say a month later, 6 months later, 6 years later, Allahu A'lam the time, you want another wife. For whatever reason. It's permissible. Let's say your wife can't have children. It's been proven that she can't have children. Or your wife, she isn't that fertile. You've been married to her for 6 years, she's only had one child. That's relatively considered to be. She's not that fertile. 6 years and she's only had one child. And you want more children. Or your wife doesn't satisfy your sexual desires. Or whatever the issue is. And FYI, a man does not need a life-changing reason to get a second wife, as many ignorant people think and feel. And we've explained this in our series on polygamy in Islam. And many people, even if they're knowledgeable, they think that is that to get another wife, you have to have a what? A life or death reason. There's always going to be a reason, of course. But they think it has to be a life-changing reason. My wife has diabetes. My wife is dying of cancer. Then you can what? Get married. Or there's a woman who's an orphan. Or there's a woman who has no one to take care of her. Or something which is a life. No. A man says, I'm pleased with my first wife. I love my first wife. I'm attracted to my first wife. We have plenty of kids and I just want a second wife. That's what? That's permissible for him. And Allah and His Messenger have not placed conditions and stipulations on getting a second wife with regards to a life or death reason. And many people, they make this mistake. And of course, we know that this comes from Western influence. Comes from Western influence. They'll accept polygamy, but only if my wife, her leg got amputated. So now you can what? You can take on a second wife. Wallahi, we're not making this up. We've seen this in contracts. A woman saying you cannot get a second wife until our children have graduated from college. Right now, they have no children. How at least it's going to be how long? At least what? How long? 20 years, at least. That's doing well. At least 20, 23 years, 25 years. Then you can what? Get a second wife. So if a brother is 40 years old right now, he's 65 years old. Is he going to live that long? And what is he going to be at 65? The conditions that you find in the contracts are atrocious. And it all goes back to not submitting to Allah and His Messenger. وَيُسَلِّمُ تَسْلِيمًا. Do you believe in it? And that's the most iconic statement that most women they make. They say, I know polygamy is the truth. I believe in it. And then what comes the what? But. The magic word, walakin. There is no walakin. Everyone understand this? So it's important for us to understand these issues. Moving forward, does that, or is that included in this kalam? Is that al-wafa bi shart al-mar'ah? Do you have to stick to that stipulation, yes or no? You say no. What do you say? No. What do you say? لا هو اتفق. He has agreed to that shart in the marriage. هل يلزمه هذا? Is that what he's talking about now? You say yes. Everyone understand this? Or if a woman says, I won't wear niqab. I'm sorry. I'm not going to wear niqab. Please don't ask me later on. I'm not going to change my opinion. It's not obligatory to me. I go to work. I go to school. I just don't want to wear it. Do not force me to wear the niqab. Do you agree? And he agrees. The next night after the marriage night, the honeymoon, he says, you can't go outside looking like that. You have to put on the niqab. Everyone understand this? The different ins and outs of this issue. What the ulama agree and disagree with regards to sharatul mar'ah. The prerequisites and the stipulations that a woman makes, and you have done what? You've agreed. Be careful of signing a marriage contract. It's like making a record deal. With the lawyer, he says, never be in the room alone with this guy. He told him that. His lawyer told him that. He says, never be caught in a room with just you and him. You can't win. It's a professional lawyer. He's going to eat you alive. Oh, here, this is what you're going to get, signing bonus, so on and so forth. Oh, yeah, I just needed a quick signature. And once he has that signature, what? Khalas. This is another clause. This is a fine print. This is kada, royalties. And next you know, you're getting what? You're getting raped. And it's too late to get out of the contract now. And be careful of signing contracts. And that's why you should always have someone to help you out when you have to what? Sign a contract, whatever that contract may be. Everyone understand this? A marriage contract, a job contract, always look over the contract. Think about it. And most importantly, have someone more knowledge and more experience to help you out. Never just sign it gung-ho. Because there are people out there who take advantage of naive people. And that is also included in what? In marriage. And we have what? لَقَدْ رَأَيْنَا. We've seen this many times. Moving forward. He then says, وَيَحْرُمُ عَلَى الرَّجُلِ أَنْ يَنْكِحَ. A man cannot marry the following type of women. Number one, zaniyatan. He cannot marry a whore or a prostitute, a harlot, a scarlet woman. He can't marry, in colloquial terms, we would call it a what? Whatever word you want to use. You have to speak the language of the people. You cannot marry a woman who's of that description. Now, the next question is, does that mean that she has to be a virgin when you marry her? Or the only contact with the man she had is with marriage? What if she used to be a ... before she learned about hijab, before she came to your class and heard your lecture, before she came to the masjid and became righteous? She used to, be whatever. Can you marry her now? She made tawbah, she's cleaned herself up, she's mustaqima now. Can you marry her now? Is she still considered a zaniya or not? She made zina though, in abundance. Or in abundance, she had one boyfriend, whatever. She made zina. Can you marry her? What's meant by that? Or is it after tawbah, we fixed it, and now we can what? Do it the proper way. The author doesn't specify, he says zaniyatan. Everyone understand this? Number two, he says, oh mushrikatan. Nor can he marry a what? A mushrik woman. So a woman who isn't a Jew or a Christian cannot be married, no matter how religious and devoted she may be. Hindu, and understand this, she could be this religion, that religion. If she's not one of those two, cannot be done. Everyone understand this? Now in this second word here, oh mushrikatan, it proves, and Allah knows best, it's a context clue, that what's meant by zaniyatan yani at the current time. Because you can't marry a woman who's a mushrika, but if she accepts Islam, you can. And obviously her accepting Islam, that's the tawbah of, or for shirk. So what's meant by a zaniya is she can't be a current day zaniya. Everyone understand this? Right, moving forward. Wal aqs, and the opposite applies. A woman cannot marry a man who's a mushrik, no matter how righteous and pious he is. Rather, a Muslim woman can't marry anyone except he's a what? Muslim, period. That's unfair. We say we don't make the rules, we what? We follow them. It's just that simple. And there's wisdom in that. And this goes to show you that the man is supposed to be the imam. He's supposed to be in charge. He's supposed to be the dominant one. He's supposed to be the one who dictates. And the Christian woman is living in the house of the Muslim man. There's no pork, there's no alcohol, there's no this, there's no cross or crucifix. It's an Islamic household, but she's not a Muslim. She goes with what? His rules, and not the opposite. Nor is there equality. There is no, we hang up Ayatul Kursi on one wall and the next wall is what? Crucifix. Christ and Mary, a'udhu billah. There's none of that. Or Krishna. You may go in some houses, unfortunately. This is the Muslim section, this is the what? The Hindu section. This is a reality. There is none of that. It's only Islam is dominant or what? Nothing. That's the rule. Islam is supposed to be al-ulya. Kalimatullah is the ulya. Everyone understand this? And anyone else of a non-Muslim who has interaction with the Muslim, they're supposed to be what? هذا هو السفلى. ليس الأدنى فقط. إيش؟ السفلى. Everyone understand this? So this goes to show the danger. for Muslim men to marry non-Muslim women, even if she is a Jew or a Christian. It's dangerous. And that's because in 2019, what type of woman are you marrying? An obedient woman, a submissive woman, or a woman who says, I'm equal to you? A woman who says, this is my house, just as like it's what? Your house. Why are you coming home late? Where were you at? What were you doing? I'm angry with you. I'm upset with you. No, I'm not sleeping with you. Everyone understand this? You're living in a time and a place in which it isn't just a submissive wife. A Muslim woman isn't submissive and obedient on the sunnah. She's telling you what to do, what you can't do, where you can't go, what time you go, what time you leave. Let alone a woman who has no deen whatsoever, and she's only Christian by name. Everyone understand this? So you get married to this woman, you have children by her, and you get divorced, what's going to happen to your children? Do we understand this? How dangerous it is when you're married to a Muslim woman, and you divorce that Muslim woman, and you change and things go different, things come sour. The Muslim woman has different rules. How your children dress and what they eat and what they watch and where they go. And she's a Muslim. She says, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. But not according to how you see it or your madhab or your way. So, فَمَا بَالُكَ بِإِشْ? A Christian woman. Where do you think your children going on Sunday? And the court says it's split custody now. So it's dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. And a person can say it's haram. For a Muslim man, a person could say this. I'm not saying I'm saying it. Someone could possibly say that a Muslim person cannot marry a kitabiyya in 2019. Unless it's in that light and in that environment. Everyone understand this? Moving forward. He says, وَمَنْ صَرَّحَ الْقُرْآنُ بِتَحْرِيمِهِ. And anyone that the Quran has clearly mentioned, you cannot marry. Surah 23, or Surah 4, 23, 24. Tayyib. And who are those women that the Quran says you cannot marry in that surah? حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ ummahatukum. Allah says your mothers. What else? Your daughters. Number 3. Which one? Mukhtar's hifd or the iPad? Which one? The iPad or his hifd? Allahu Akbar. So Allah says your mothers, your what? Daughters, your what? Your sisters. Number 3. And number 4? وَعَمَّاتُكُمْ. Your what? Your aunts. From father's side or mother's side? Father's side. Paternal, maternal? Paternal. What's next? And your maternal aunts as well. Or? That's all you got, huh? The iPad ran out. Tayyib. Let's go back to Mukhtar's hifd. Man over machine. Everyone understand this? Tayyib. Etc. Moving forward, he says, this is the last thing that we'll mention tonight. وَالْجَمْعُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْأَةِ وَعَمَّتِهَا أَوْ خَالَتِهَا. And he says, al-jam'u, listen carefully, the combination, being married to Ahmed and Ahmed's aunt. He has 2 eyes. He can marry either of the 2, but it can't be what? Married together. They can't be what? Married together. Now, this is extremely important from so many aspects. Number 1 is, this goes to show us that the Sunnah elucidates the Quran, explains the Quran, and according to some scholars, in certain instances, could abrogate the Quran, make naskh. And according to some scholars, in certain instances, قَدْ تَزِيدُ عَلَى الْقُرْآنِ. It can mention things which are what? Additional. Because that's not mentioned in that ayah or those ayat. It just says you can't marry your aunt. You can't marry your aunt. But the Sunnah has explained that you can marry a woman, but you can't be married to the woman and her aunt or aunt at the same time. And that's a masala usuliyah with regards to what the Sunnah does with the Quran. Everyone understand this? At-ta'meem, at-takhsis, at-taqyid, at-naskh. And to ma'na, هذه مسألة إيش؟ أصولية مهمة جدا. It's a principle of usul al-fiqh, of the Tahlil. Everyone understand this? Secondly is, it goes to show you, if you cannot be married to a woman and her aunt at the same time, that proves that your aunt-in-law is not your what? And you're not a what for her? Mahram. You can't shake her hand. There is no hug. There is no sitting at the table with her. She's uncovered and traveling with her. And that's because she isn't impermissible for you to marry ala ta'bid, perpetually. You can marry her, but just not at the current time. If you divorced your wife, and then later on you say, I want to marry her, the aunt, it will be what? permissible. And the same applies to a sister-in-law. She is not your mahram. And many people, they make a mistake regarding this. And the same applies to other issues such as stepchildren versus the stepfather. There's tafsir on these things. And many people, they're ignorant. And many people, they make an error with regards to this. يَتَسَاهَلُونَ فِي هَذَا الشَّيْء. She's my aunt. Shake her hand. She gives you a kiss on the cheek. She takes off her kimar. You're in the house. La. She's not unlawful for you. Everyone understand this? And that's because you can marry her, but not at the what? Same time. And the same applies to the sister-in-law. If things didn't work out with your wife, you got divorced, and then later on you married her younger or older sister, it will be what? Permissible. It's not about the culture of the people or the likes of the people, or how could you do that? How could you marry a woman's sister? It's not about what we think and feel. It's about the Sharia, the rules. And the moment that we stop following these rules, the whole entire system of life of the Muslim does what? Falls apart. It cracks and it crumbles. Everyone understand this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Sallallahu sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina wa imamina Muhammad.